You try walking. You watch every bite. But that deep inner belly fat, it just won't budge. We all know that frustration. But here is the critical truth. That stubborn middle section is not the soft fat you can pinch. It is something much more insidious. It is called visceral fat. This is not just a cosmetic issue. This inner fat is a ticking time bomb, silently fueling inflammation, wrapping around your vital organs, and increasing your risk of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and even memory decline as you age. It is a metabolic crisis. But what if I told you the solution isn't another complicated diet or more intense exercise? What if you could flip your body's fat-burning switch with one simple natural drink taken right before you go to sleep? I am Dr. Pradip Jamnadas, and here on Better Health Advice, we don't make false promises. We do the science of longevity. Today, we are going to expose the real mechanism behind this deep fat and how this nightly drink reprograms your metabolism to melt it away while you are in your deepest rest. Before we dive into the formula, if you have ever felt frustrated by that unmovable bulge, let me know in the comments where you are watching from. And please hit that like button and subscribe, because you definitely want to understand the science of healing while you sleep. All right, let's begin crafting this narrative. We will now move into the first part of our discussion. You know, for years, maybe even decades, you've been told the same story. Eat less, move more. It's simple, right? A matter of calories in, calories out. And you listened, you tried, you cut back, you walked, you joined gyms, you ate the salads, you skipped the desserts, and yet that stubborn fat, the fat deep in your belly, it just stayed. It clung on almost like it had a mind of its own. And in a way it does. I'm here to tell you that if you've struggled with this, it is not a personal failure. It's not a lack of willpower. It's a failure of understanding. You've been fighting the wrong enemy with the wrong weapons. The reason those old methods don't work for this specific dangerous type of fat is that we've been looking at it all wrong. We need to stop thinking of visceral fat as just a soft, passive layer of insulation. It's not. Imagine it as something else entirely. Imagine it as an organ, a newly grown, unwanted organ right in the center of your body. But unlike your heart or your lungs, this organ isn't working for you, it's working against you. It's a toxic organ, a rogue factory that is constantly pumping out harmful substances into your bloodstream. Day and night, it's releasing a cocktail of inflammatory chemicals. These aren't just random chemicals. They are messengers of disease. They create a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation throughout your entire body. This isn't the kind of inflammation you feel from a sprained ankle. It's silent, it's invisible, but it's incredibly destructive, slowly damaging your blood vessels, your joints, and your other organs. And that's not all this toxic organ does. One of its main products is a stress hormone you've probably heard of, cortisol. Now, cortisol isn't inherently evil. In a healthy person, it helps you wake up in the morning and gives you a burst of energy in a fight or flight situation. But when this visceral fat factory is constantly pumping it out, your body is bathed in a 24/7 drip of stress signals. Your body is always on high alert, always in a state of emergency. And this creates a truly vicious, heartbreaking cycle. Your brain, sensing this constant state of emergency from the high cortisol levels, does what it's programmed to do in times of crisis. It tries to protect you. And how does it protect you? It tells your body to store energy, to save up for the perceived famine or danger that is just around the corner. And where is the most readily accessible place to store this emergency energy? You guessed it. Right there, around your vital organs, in your belly. So the stress from the visceral fat tells the body to store more visceral fat. The very thing causing the problem becomes the solution in your body's confused, panicked state. It's a feedback loop from hell. The more you get stressed, store more belly fat. The belly fat produces more stress signals, and the cycle continues spinning faster and faster, completely independent of how many calories you're eating. This is the critical connection for anyone who has tried intermittent fasting or is managing blood sugar issues. You might be doing everything right. You're fasting for 16, even 18 hours. You're carefully watching your carbs. You're eating clean. And yet the scale barely moves and that ring of fat around your middle remains. It's maddening. It feels like your body has betrayed you. But it hasn't. Your body is just stuck in this hormonal prison. The biological signals, the hormones, they are all scrambled. Your fundamental energy processes are completely out of whack. You are trying to put fuel into a car with a broken engine. No matter how little you eat, the high cortisol and the chronic inflammation are constantly screaming at your body, hold on to the fat, store it, we are in danger. Until you break that cycle, until you quiet down those hormonal screams, no amount of dieting in the world will convince your body to let go of that fat. You have to heal the signal before you can fix the system. So how do we break the cycle? How do we send a new signal, a signal of safety and calm that allows the body to finally unlock those fat stores? It doesn't happen by starving yourself. It happens by working with your body's natural rhythms. It happens while you sleep. There are two absolute non-negotiable pillars to this process. First, we must optimize your sleep. We tend to think of sleep as a passive state, a time when the body just shuts down. Nothing could be further from the truth. When you enter the deep stages of sleep, your body isn't shutting down. It's starting its most important work. Your brain cleans itself, your tissues repair themselves, and, most importantly for our conversation, your body releases a cascade of powerful hormones. Human growth hormone, for example, is released in pulses during deep sleep. We think of it for growth in kids, but in adults it's a master repair and fat-burning hormone. It literally tells your body to start pulling energy from your fat cells to fuel the overnight repair process. But what happens when sleep is poor? What happens when you toss and turn, wake up frequently, or just don't get enough deep restorative sleep? The opposite happens. Instead of a surge in fat-burning hormones, you get a surge in fat-storing hormones. Cortisol levels, which should be at their lowest point in the middle of the night, start to rise. The stress signal is reactivated. Your insulin sensitivity plummets, meaning your body can't handle blood sugar properly. Even one single night of poor sleep can make your insulin sensitivity look like that of a pre-diabetic person the next day. Your body once again receives the message of danger and crisis. And it does what it knows best. It locks down your fat cells. It holds on tight to that visceral fat, refusing to let it go. This connection becomes profoundly important as we get older. For anyone over the age of 60 listening to this might be the most important thing you hear today. The natural changes in sleep architecture that happen with age, the tendency to sleep lighter and wake more often, this isn't just a minor annoyance. It is a primary driver of age-related weight gain, especially belly fat. Addressing sleep isn't a luxury. It's the absolute foundation of turning this process around. The second foundational pillar is the role of your liver, the night's unsung hero. Think of your liver as the main factory in your city. It has hundreds of jobs, from detoxification to nutrient storage, but one of its most critical roles is being the primary site of fat metabolism. Your liver is where fat is processed, packaged, and shipped out to be used as energy. It's the foreman of your fat-burning crew. But what happens to a factory that is constantly overwhelmed? What happens when there's too much raw material coming in, day after day, with no break? It gets clogged. The machinery slows down, the workers get exhausted, production grinds to a halt. This is what has happened to so many of our livers. Years of processed foods, refined sugars, alcohol, medications, they've put our main factory under siege. The liver becomes so busy dealing with this constant influx of toxins and excess sugar that it can't do its other jobs properly. Its fat processing assembly line gets backed up. And when the factory gets backed up, where does all that unprocessed fat go? It can't just disappear. The liver starts storing it. First, in itself, leading to a condition many have heard of, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And then, once it can't hold anymore, it starts storing it in the most convenient place possible. Right there, around itself, in your abdomen, as visceral fat. So, when we talk about a slow metabolism, what we are often really talking about is a tired, overwhelmed, and sluggish liver. To get your body to burn fat effectively, especially overnight, you have to support this factory. You have to give the foreman and the night crew the tools they need to do their job. You have to help them clean the house. The special drink we are about to discuss does more than just give a gentle nudge to your metabolism. Its primary, most powerful function is to support your liver's natural overnight detoxification and cleansing process, allowing it to finally get back to its most important job, burning fat. Now that we understand the enemy and the battlefield, it's time to talk about strategy. And that starts with understanding what not to do. Before we even talk about what to drink, we have to clear the cabinet of things that are sabotaging your efforts. You might be shocked to learn that some of the things you've been told are healthy, especially before bed, are actually slamming the brakes on your body's fat-burning engine. Let's talk about these seemingly innocent nighttime drinks that are causing more harm than good. First up, the classic remedy for sleeplessness, a warm glass of milk. It sounds so comforting, so wholesome. It's what our mothers and grandmothers told us to do. But from a hormonal standpoint, it's a disaster for fat loss. Milk contains a natural sugar called lactose. When you drink that milk, the lactose hits your system and your blood sugar rises. It may not be a huge spike like a can of soda, but it's enough. And in response to any rise in blood sugar, your pancreas releases insulin. And insulin is like a key. It's the key that locks your fat cells. When insulin is present in your bloodstream, fat burning is biologically impossible. It is turned off. Period. The presence of insulin is a direct signal to your body to stop burning and start storing. So that comforting glass of milk is literally locking the doors to your fat stores right before you go to sleep, the very time you want them to be wide open. Next on the list is fruit juice. People think it's natural, it comes from fruit, it must be healthy. They might have a small glass of orange juice or apple juice in the evening. This is perhaps even worse than the milk. Fruit juice is a highly concentrated source of a sugar called fructose. Fructose is processed differently from other sugars. It goes straight to your liver. When you flood your liver with a blast of fructose right before bed, you are giving that already overworked factory an impossible task. The liver can't use all that fructose at once, so it does the only thing it can. It converts it directly into fat, specifically triglycerides. You are essentially telling your body to focus all its energy on creating and storing new fat. Right at the moment, it should be focused on burning old fat and repairing your body. And finally, the most common culprit, alcohol. A glass of wine, a bottle of beer to relax and unwind before bed. While it might make you feel drowsy, alcohol is a potent poison to your system. And your liver knows this. When alcohol enters your bloodstream, the liver drops everything else it's doing. Everything. All other metabolic processes are put on hold. Fat burning, halted. Sugar regulation, halted. The liver's absolute number one priority becomes detoxification. It must get this poison out of your system. So for the hours that your liver is processing that alcohol, your body's ability to use fat for fuel is completely shut down. It doesn't just pause fat burning, it actively prevents it. You are effectively sacrificing your prime fat burning window to the task of detoxification. The lesson here is profound. To achieve our goal, we must give the body nutrients that assist the nighttime fat loss process, not things that actively obstruct it. The body is willing to do the work. We just have to stop getting in its way. So, what is the alternative? What can we drink that sends the right signal? A signal of calm, of stability, of gentle activation. The answer isn't some expensive complicated powder. It's a simple, powerful, and ancient combination of 3 ingredients you may already have in your kitchen. This combination works synergistically to create the perfect hormonal environment for nighttime fat burning. Let's break it down one by one. The first ingredient is cinnamon. Think of this as the insulin regulator. For centuries, cinnamon has been used not just as a spice but as a medicine. Modern science has now shown us why. Cinnamon has a remarkable ability to help stabilize blood sugar levels. It doesn't just lower blood sugar, it improves your body's sensitivity to insulin. This is absolutely key. Remember how insulin resistance is part of that vicious cycle? Your cells become deaf to insulin signal, so your body has to shout louder and louder by producing more and more of it. Cinnamon helps to resensitize those cells. It's like it cleans out their ears so they can hear the whisper of insulin again, meaning your body doesn't have to scream. By promoting stable blood sugar and reducing insulin resistance overnight, cinnamon helps keep that fat cell locking hormone, insulin, low and quiet. It also has a mild thermogenic effect, meaning it gently increases your body's heat production, which is a sign of an elevated metabolic rate. But not all cinnamon is created equal. The common type you find in most stores is cassia cinnamon, which contains high levels of a compound called coumarin that can be tough on the liver in large doses. For this therapeutic purpose, the gold standard is Ceylon cinnamon, sometimes called true cinnamon. It's lighter in color, has a more delicate flavor, and is much